Well, guys, it finally happened. And on the week of San Diego Comic-Con, no less, Sega has officially ended the Sonic the Hedgehog Archie comics. Yeah. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Werewoof Reactions. My name is Wolfie, and sadly, I wish I had good news to say here, but I don't. It finally happened on the week of San Diego Comic-Con, no less, but Sega has officially ended the Sonic the Hedgehog Archie comic line of comics. This sucks. So yeah, you might be asking yourself, but Wolfie, I thought you said you stopped reading this Sonic the Hedgehog comics. I did. I did. There's been a long period of which I stopped reading the Sonic the Hedgehog comics, even though I used to collect them, or rather read them, religiously ever since I was a child. It was around the time, I'd say about 2005, or maybe around the time I left England, is when I stopped buying them every month on the monthly. It was more or less around the time, I'll try to figure out what issue it is, I'll put it somewhere, like an annotation or something. The actual issue that kinda got me to stop reading the comics was the one with this infamous moment in it. Yeah, things kind of got bad for me, and I was like, even as a younger, teenager, I was like, I can't do this anymore. They are literally shitting on one of my favorite characters from Sonic SatAM by making Sally act so out of character. It is just, I was like, this whole thing, it's just love triangles and all this drama, and there's characters getting mad at other characters, and it was just like, it seemed so melodramatic that I couldn't get into it. The reason I liked these Sonic comics up to that point was because I loved seeing the character dynamics. I loved seeing Sonic SatAM. For me, because as a kid, that was my favorite Sonic show growing up, but seeing it continued throughout the arc, the story arcs were continued more or less in the Archie comics after the show had long since ended. So for me, that was more or less my continuation of that show, was through the Archie comic books, hence why I would read it every month when it came out. I still have this big box of comics over here that I'll try to lug it up here and show you guys here soon. But yeah, the Sonic the Hedgehog Archie comics kind of mean a lot to me, even if I didn't necessarily read them up until now. Yeah, I even heard it got to the point where they were doing reboot. They did a huge reboot that kind of set the gears in motion for them to kind of start fixing everything that was messed up by a certain writer person who shall remain nameless. I'm gonna go into that possibly later. But yeah, it's just, even though I haven't read them in forever, I heard they literally were starting to get their stuff back together, and it's like, here it is, it's over. I mean, we've been knowing this was coming for a while now. This has been kind of the word around the internet, around all these places when Archie stopped, having their Sonic comic subscription things updated. There was a whole bunch of things that were kind of cluing in that, yeah, they might be ending this line of Sonic comics. But it's not all bad. I'll go ahead and read the article and put it up as I read it. But yeah, this is it's weird to say. It's just this is the end of the longest running video game comic series of all time. There's never been a video game based comic that has run as long as the Sonic the Hedgehog comics since holy crap, it's been 24 years at least. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's read about what happened and why it happened, and then we'll talk a little bit about that afterwards. So, Archie Comics and Sonic the Hedgehog are splitting up. It was just confirmed on the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter account. Sonic the Hedgehog Archie comic was known as the longest running video game based comic book, spanning over 24 years. It seems Sega and Archie Comics couldn't quite come to terms with a licensing agreement. Their quote reads, "After 24 years of memorable storytelling, Sega of America will conclude their Sonic the Hedgehog publishing partnership program with Archie Comics. This does not mark the end of Sonic and Comics, but signifies Sega of America's decision to take a different direction for the series that will be announced at a later date. Sega would like to thank Sonic's amazing fans for their loyalty and passion over all the years. Sega looks forward to providing more information soon." So that's that. Wow. It is insane to think that it's all over now. The thing I've been reading since I was like this big, relatively speaking, like since I was like 4 or 5 years old, since I could first start reading, the very first thing I remember reading as a kid was comic books, and it was the Sonic line that really got me into, oh crap, I hit the mic, that kind of got me into reading comic books and reading in general. So yeah, I mean, on one hand, I'm kind of glad this will maybe allow Sega to maybe find something that more fits what they're looking for with Sonic as far as comic books are concerned. But on the other hand, it's just like, wow, all the story and everything that Archie Comics did, they probably more than likely have the rights to. We're not going to see all that stuff. All the cool stuff like the Death Egg arc and, not Death Egg, the Endgame, what was it? Endgame, I believe. All that cool stuff is just, it's gone. And this makes me curious, what was part of the Archie Comics deal? I don't know who necessarily owns the Sonic Sat AM characters. I want to say it was Deke, or whatever remains of them these days, whoever created the Sonic Sat AM cartoon, because Sally Acorn, Rotor, Bunny Rabbit, the Freedom Fighters, the Wolfpack, Dulcie, Antoine, a whole bunch of Sat AM characters. I'm not sure who the rights on that falls to. I don't know if that's on Sega's side or if that's on Archie Comics' side. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that Sega owns the rights to those characters, because, as a lot of people know, Sally Acorn, Antoine, all the characters I named, I'm very fond of them. I love those characters, and they're kind of deep right here in my heart, and I don't want to see them gone. I don't want to see the comics just become just the game stuff, because while they did have the Sonic Sat AM characters in the Archie line, they did manage to fit some game storylines in it and actually make it work. For the most part, they've had some hits and misses, obviously, over the years. But yeah, it was just getting good. I remember I actually saw some of the stuff they had. I used to go to Barnes & Nobles every now and then, or Borders, whatever it was, and I used to kind of glance over the comics, like, what's going on in the Sonic comics these days? And they had, last time I checked, they were doing the Sonic the Fighters tournament with, like, they brought Breezy back from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Breezy. They brought that character back and made her look like this, and they actually made her kind of menacing. And they had Candy from, what was it? She's like the Sonic the Fighters character that was based off of, no, not Candy, I'm sorry, Honey the cat, who was based off of Candy, who was a Fighting Vipers character, who was based on the model, there's all this stuff, but yeah, she was a Sonic the Fighters character based on Candy from Fighting Vipers, another Sega-owned license. They had her in there, and it's like, all this cool stuff. They had Sega Sanshiro showing up, and it's like, oh man, it seems like just when they were getting their stuff together, this happened. So, yeah, oh man, it's sad, but here's what I'm thinking. Since they said it's not necessarily the end of the Sonic comics, I'm thinking here's what's gonna more than likely happen. We have at least 3 routes that I can see happening. One, this is a publisher will pick up the Sonic comics. One publisher will. There's plenty of there's plenty of comic publishers out there that would gladly pick up a license like Sonic. I'm thinking the main 3, or the big 3 that I can really think of off the top of my head, besides Dark Horse and stuff like that, are IDW, who publish a lot of licensed comic books. They do My Little Pony, they do Transformers, they do Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Godzilla. There's a whole bunch of comics they cover. So IDW would be ideal for the most part, because they kind of seem to know what they're doing. There's DC, who would also be a pretty good pickup, since DC / Warner Brothers, they own a whole bunch of licenses. They own pretty much any cartoon you've seen on Cartoon Network. They almost own almost all of them, like Scooby-Doo, Flintstones, Jetsons, anything Warner Brothers has their hands in, DC can also utilize for their comics if they really want to. Looney Tunes, all that stuff. So Sonic could fit in with that roster of characters. I'm not sure if they'd put him in with DC superheroes. That'd be odd, especially when they have the Flash. But DC, maybe. I'm not sure how they feel about picking up licenses like that. I'm not 100% sure. And then we have Marvel, who is my favorite comic company. Not lately with what they've been doing as far as comics are concerned. I love their movies. Their comics have been kind of lately, besides a few here and there. But yeah, Marvel, I'm not sure. They don't seem to also pick up many licenses. They really seem to kind of do their own thing. Like, if they don't make the characters, or if it's not a legacy character or a character they've previously owned by some sort of acquisition, I don't see Marvel picking this up. And I'd be surprised, because Marvel has done previous things before. They did Transformers back in the day. They did G.I. Joe back in the day, but I think IDW now takes care of those licenses. So I'm not sure. It's either going to probably be Marvel, DC, or IDW. With San Diego Comic-Con happening, this will be the perfect time for Sega to show, or rather announce, who their future publishing partner might be for the Sonic comics. Who knows what is in store for this, but if they start from zero, if the comics start over from ground zero, or not ground zero, but if they start from scratch, then I might start picking them up and reading them again, because honestly, it was kind of hard for me to jump back into the new stuff they had, even though I probably could have just easily read up on some of the stuff. But yeah, we had a whole bunch of things going on. Ken Penders being Ken Penders like, and doing stuff like this. Yeah, if you want to know about Ken Penders, just look it up on Google. Or just look it up on YouTube. There's plenty of videos covering that guy. Yeah. It sucks. I feel legitimately sorry for any of the Archie comic writers or artists who were working on previous Sonic comics, like the ones I was reading, the ones based on the old school Sonic, classic Sonic, that had amazing artwork in it. And the Sonic X comics, the Sonic Boom comics, all of them. Hopefully, you know, things go well for them as well. I don't know what Archie Comics is going to be doing, if they're still going to continue the Archie Comics, which they're more than likely going to do, because what they got Riversdale and all that stuff on CW now, so I'm sure they're maybe okay. But yeah, here's hoping Sonic Comic lands in the hands of somebody capable who actually likes the series and is capable of writing and drawing up some good stories for them. Good luck, guys. That's pretty much all I got to say on that matter. And let me know what you guys think of this. I mean, what else is there to say? Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the Werewoof reactions and more videos like this one. This has been your news update on Sonic News from me, Wolfie. Guess the only thing I can do now is showcase my collection of Sonic comics if you guys kind of want to take a look at it. Stick around. If not, I appreciate you all watching. Here we go. Let me grab my comics real quick. Yeah. It's a big box. It's a pretty big box. So oh god. Okay. Let me just open this up real quick. And it's heavy too. But yeah, I just comics up the ass over here. Let me see if I can pull these out and like showcase the camera here. Let's see. We have I'm just gonna showcase a few things I got over the years. Oh, let me try to get a. This is gonna be difficult, but yeah, I got like all these cool Sonic issues here. This is one of my favorites here. This one was a weird one. This was Sonic 51 after they killed Robotnik, and this one was freaky because like Sonic had a dream where everybody was roboticized, and it creeped me the fuck out as a kid. There was all these cool things like. We had these. This is around the time I stopped reading the comics, is when they started going into this format. Is when they started doing like the magazines type covers here, where it'd be like, who's this mystery character, and what's she think about this? And it's got all this stuff going on here. And I was like, this is weird for Sonic. What is the actual latest issue I had? The very last one I had. You got like Sonic Universe. You got cool things when they did the Mega Man crossovers, stuff like that. Ow, my eye. Hit my eye. What else? These things go way back. These things go way back. Yeah, around this time is when I stopped reading the comics. When they started doing this. if you guys can really see it well, but this is when they started doing the magazine type covers. It'd have like these big, like, kind of, oh, look at this, it's a thing, and it's got like kind of articles in the bottom here. It'd be like, you won't believe how many Master Emeralds Knuckles got. It's like clickbait titles basically, and they had them in here, and it's just like, it was weird stuff, just weird. And all the comic covers look like this, just a white background with the characters on it doing something, and it was just, that was around the time I tapped out and I couldn't read them anymore. But yeah, my collection just, you could see it goes from like modern to like old. Let's see if I can pull out some old ones here. You could tell they're older because they start getting crinkly and like tan-ish around the pages. This is my old Sonic 50 from years back. This is the issue where they killed Robotnik for good. Yeah, and they had like cool like design covers and stuff like that. Spaz and Penders, who still does his weird 3D renders even now, which don't look that well nowadays. But yeah, it's just he had some cool ass shit in here. And yeah, believe it or not, I used to read the Knuckles comics too, the Knuckles main line. Now I'm looking back on these, I don't like them as much now that I know Ken Penders really honestly believe he owned weird characters like this, even though he's kicking Knuckles' ass in this picture. There are some cool ideas in there, admittedly, but yeah. And it just, maybe one day I'll showcase my actual like Sonic comic collection. I have like all the cool super specials. Let's see if I can find one. How about? Oh, this one's one of my favorites, the Sonic and Knuckles one. All this cool stuff. It's just like all these cool comics, and it's like they're gone now, forever. So maybe the price of Sonic Archie comics will go up in the future. I don't know. Collectors, beware. Start eBaying those comics that you don't own anymore right now before the price starts kicking up. Maybe, we'll see. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. I just wanted to quickly showcase a couple of comics from my collection. I have like at least 175 issues in that box back there of mixed comics. But yeah, that's gonna be all for me today, guys. Thanks for watching as always, and as always, stay tuned.